Match day one of the World Cup has been a wild ride, from upsets, high-scoring games, world-class players trying to cement their dynasty, world-class players trying to create a dynasty, as well as all the upsets. Did I mention that? It's had a little bit of everything, and I want to take this opportunity to have a wee look back and look who have been the heroes and zeros of the World Cup so far for match day one. Of course, as match day 2 and 3 are yet to come, I'm sure some of these heroes will solidify themselves. Some of these zeros might have some redemption, and there might be some new faces to catch as the match days roll on. I want to know in the comment section of this video who's your hero and who's your zero from the match day one in the World Cup. At any point in the video today, if you laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and let's get stuck into it. Now, we'll start with the boring stuff first of all, the goalkeepers. Now, on paper, Thibaut Courtois is the highest scoring goalkeeper at this year's World Cup. He picked up 91.8 points. He got a clean sheet. He saved a penalty. He also kept his team right in the game against Canada. But the hero goalkeeper from match day one for me is Memo Ochoa. The World Cup legend that he is saves a penalty against Robert Lewandowski to keep it 0-0 for Mexico and keep their World Cup hopes alive. And for me, I don't think you can look any further. Yeah, Courtois scored better. Yeah, Courtois saved the penalty, had a clean sheet as well and all the rest of it. But he's a Belgium keeper. He's a Real Madrid keeper. We kind of expect it. But with Ochoa, it was unexpected. Wait, if anything, thought Poland would have won this game relatively convincingly. And when called upon, the legendary goalkeeper Ochoa stepped up and cemented his legendary status for the Mexican national team with a huge penalty save. And for me, when it comes to hero goalkeepers, he's the first one that jumps out to me from match day one. Now, the zero of a goalkeeper, the zero, is figurative and literal. Like Ochoa and I guess Courtois, this guy is a national hero. He has been one of the prides of his nation for the last 10 years or so, competing in World Cups, winning Champions Leagues, etc. I'm talking, of course, about Keylor Navas, who actually scored 0 points. If anything, he would have scored negative points. He had an error led to go. He conceded 7. And if he could have scored less than 0, he would have scored -12. He committed 1 save. He made 1 punch. He really didn't get up to much in this game. And, you know, for Costa Rica, who don't have a big squad, he is their main guy. And like against Spain, you want him to get more than 1 save. You know what I mean? Like, so for me, figuratively and literally, Keylor Navas is a big fat 0 from match day one. Now, again, when it comes to hero defenders, much like Ochoa, I'm going back to the golden oldies. I'm going to guys that are cementing World Cup legacies as potentially one of the greatest ever in their position. And I'm talking, of course, about Jordi Alba, who smashed 100 fantasy points, 100 out of 100 this game week. He got an assist. He also won a penalty for his team. But on top of that, 101 accurate passes, 24 final third accurate passes. Jordi Alba rolled back the years and we were getting vintage Alba. It was a big part of their 7-0 win. He didn't even need to play 90 minutes. He came off for Alex Balde and put his feet up, put his slippers on, put a cigar on for the last 20 minutes or so. And I think as this World Cup's going to go on, we're all going to forget how old Jordi Alba is. I think we're going to see vintage Alba and vintage Spain as this tournament goes on. And for me, he was the real hero defender of match day one. The real 0 for me, but isn't actually a 0. He scored 16 points. But the reason he's my 0 for match day one is he's in a dominant nation. He was highly picked probably on the Sorare Global Cup draft as being the #1 right back for his nation. His team won. They won with a clean sheet, but he still managed to pick up 16 points. I'm talking, of course, of Denzel Dumfries, who is, for me, the biggest 0 of a defender so far in this World Cup. He's in the winning team. He keeps the clean sheet, but his points were just hemorrhaging all over the place. And 23 possession lost, 12 missed passes. On top of everything else, I just think it was a nightmare of a performance from Denzel Dumfries in SO5 terms. And I would be really happy to see Frimpong come in and replace him, but for me, Dumfries is very firmly firmly the number one right back at Holland, and for me, that's why he has a flat 0, because he really should have contributed much better and much more into this game. Ismail Assar had him on toast a number of times, and defensively, he was really exposed. And I think for me, as far as I'm thinking about bad defensive performances, it's only Denzel Dumfries. This guy was the number one midfielder in match day 1. He's got one of the favourites as his nation to go on and win the tournament. He surprised the world with his performance. Everyone really kind of sat up and applauded and said, well done, Adrien Rabiot, because Rabiot is probably most famous for his mum being his agent, and he wasn't really wanted at PSG, he's not really been wanted at Juve, but people play him, Deschamps likes him. No one really seems to understand the enigma that is Adrien Rabiot, but he got a goal, he got an assist, and against Australia, he looked a class apart. And with the injury problems France had in midfield coming into this tournament, this might be set up to be Rabiot's midfield for France. Tchouameni was excellent with him, and along with Griezmann and Dembele and Mbappe, Rabiot, I think he could repeat these scores, and I think he could repeat these performances as the tournament goes on. And this could be really at 27, I suppose, but like this could be the tournament where everyone kind of wakes up to the qualities that Rabiot has. This is going to surprise you, right? But again, very similar principle with Denzel Dumfries. My 0 of a midfielder from match day 1 of this year's World Cup. He got man of the match. His team won 1-0. It's Kevin De Bruyne. He only scored 53 points, and when you look at his stats, he's not picked up anything for possession. De Bruyne we expect to be the pass master. All of his points have came from attacking contributions in the final third. Because of where he was played, he was still kind of effective. But De Bruyne is meant to be one of the best players of this tournament. He's got man of the match on his name. That's how big his name is. That's how influential he normally is in the match. And he's not going to walk off that pitch thinking that he's done good enough or build. He's going to come into the next matches expecting to outperform what he's laid out as a marker for match day 1. But because of how anonymous he really was in the match, and I really mean the word anonymous, for me, for quality midfield, and I can find guys that have actually done worse than De Bruyne, but for me, he was the big letdown in match day 1. When I'm looking at all the matches and excited to watch these teams and these games, as far as midfielders I was looking forward to that didn't deliver, top of the list is Kevin De Bruyne. I do expect much more from him as the tournament goes on. I do expect him to progress. I do expect him to excel as this tournament goes on. He's really got to show up and deliver in the next 2 matches, or Belgium could be out. Let's just call a spade here. And again, the number 1 forward so far in the World Cup. A few guys have scored 2 goals. A bunch of guys have been on the winning teams. Some guys have been in really high scoring affairs with 6 or 7 goals in them, 4 goals, whatever. But the number 1 forward from match day 1 is Ener Valencia. He scored 2 goals. His team won 2-0. But he also had amazing passing and pressing statistics as well. And he is now, at the moment, outscoring Messi, outscoring Griezmann. Griezmann scores really well without a goal, by the way. Outscoring Kane, outscoring all these other guys that have actually scored 2 goals like he has or been a part of big and winning teams. But it was his all-around performance that really led his team Ecuador. And, Ecuador now go into the rest of this group full of confidence off the back of his performance. And for me, not only, I could have maybe picked out somebody that's scored 2 goals, maybe Harry Kane, 2 assists and, they won 6-2 or whatever, but he carried his nation on his back. He was the main man up front. He got the 2 goals that won them the game. And like I said, they can go through the group stages now with confidence, thanks to national hero Ener Valencia. And again, keeping in the same theme of the zeros that we've had, guys that have just been a huge letdown for their nation, high expectation, high caliber player, underperforming. As I say that, and you're thinking about strikers of this World Cup, who comes to your mind? It has to be Robert Lewandowski. He missed the penalty. They drew 0-0 with Mexico, and Poland are very firmly on the back foot in this group stages. On the channel, I was questioning Lewandowski coming into this World Cup. Can he get some sort of international pedigree, some sort of international credibility that he can leave in his legacy to Poland as the greatest ever player they've produced? And that was a great opportunity that he's missed there. He's got so much to do over the next 2 games if Poland are to get any chance of qualifying from this group now. And for me, Lewandowski was the big disappointing striker. He just didn't show up, really. Now, I'm really hopeful guys like De Bruyne, maybe Dumfries do a bit better in match day 1 and match day 2 than they did in match day 1. These heroes, but Ochoa, Alba, Rabiot, and Valencia, I think they're going to go on to have a fantastic group stages over the next 2 games. And I can't wait to see in the comment section down below who you think has been the biggest heroes and the biggest zeros from match day 1 in this year's World Cup. At any point in the video, if you laughed, you learned, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.